waters are fast-moving.
Unlike other big rallies,
A bit earlier at about 7 a.m. a group from
Welcome to #PHVote 2013.
Today on Rappler, international police investigate a child sex abuse ring in the Philippines. The National Bureau of Investigation says online sex trade has become a cottage industry in the Philippines. And a U.S. Senate report says the Benghazi attacks that killed 4 Americans in 2012 could have been prevented. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. An international probe cracks down on a pedophile ring which streamed live sexual abuse of Filipino children over the internet. Under Operation Endeavor, which spanned a dozen countries, 29 people were arrested, including 11 in the Philippines. 3 other ongoing probes identified 733 suspects globally. 15 child victims aged between 6 and 15 are rescued. Britain's National Crime Agency, or NCA, says Operation Endeavor began in 2012 with the discovery of obscene video clips on a British pedophile's computer. The agency says abuse in developing countries is, quote, significant and emerging. It adds, quote, extreme poverty, the increasing availability of high-speed internet, and the existence of a vast and comparatively wealthy overseas customer base drove the industry behind the exploitation of children. The Australian Federal Police says it served 6 search warrants under the international operation that led to the arrest of 3 Australians. The Philippines National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, says the cash for cybersex scheme is a growing trade. NBI Anti-Human Trafficking Division Chief Dante Bonoan says online sexual exploitation has become a, quote, cottage industry where syndicates move operations to different homes to create cybersex dens. Bonoan says these dens are usually located in poor areas. In most cases, parents or older family members are involved in the prostitution of a minor. The NBI says this setup makes it difficult to identify abusers, with children often afraid to speak out against their own families. Some community members also benefit from the cybersex industry as a source of income. In 2012, an NBI entrapment operation led to the capture of a couple allegedly running a local child sex abuse ring in Cordova City, Cebu. Despite a survey saying more businessmen support the Freedom of Information Bill, or FOI, Malacanang says it won't certify the bill urgent. Communications Secretary Sonny Coloma says President Benigno Aquino cannot push his allies in Congress to ensure it will pass. In a press briefing Thursday, Coloma says the president abides by the Constitution. Certifying bills urgent is only allowed under specific instances. Urgent bills have priority in deliberations and may be passed on second and third reading on the same day. On Wednesday, the Social Weather Stations released its 2013 survey of enterprises on corruption. It said 56% of 951 businessmen saw a lot of corruption in government. Those who said corruption will be reduced by passing a strong FOI law went up from 78% in 2009 to 88% in 2013. The Senate passed the FOI bill, but the hurdle has traditionally been the House of Representatives. The FOI bill aims to promote transparency by providing a system for citizens to access government documents and information. Coloma says the Aquino administration already, quote, implemented the principles of FOI in concrete measures. On Wednesday, Aquino launched the Open Government Data Philippines, an online platform that makes government data publicly available. Veteran field investigator Virgilio Mendez is the new director of the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI. Mendez takes his oath before Justice Secretary Laila de Lima on Thursday, January 16, 36 years since he first joined the Bureau as an agent. Mendez was Deputy Director for Regional Operations Services since 2011. Described by insiders as low-key and not associated with politicians, Mendez spent years in Mindanao honing his skills as an investigator. He has a long list of successful arrests, including the suspects in the brutal killing of Kay Devantes. He was also the lead investigator in the Atimonan gunman shootout and supervised the investigation of the Cagayan de Oro bombing. De Lima hopes Mendez's appointment will create a ripple effect to boost the performance of those in the Bureau. She says, besides the obvious experience that an insider will bring to the NBI leadership, it will also serve as a confidence booster for those serving in the NBI. The World Bank says the Philippine economy is expected to grow above 6% until 2016. In its 2014 Global Economic Prospects report, the agency says the Philippines will grow 6.5% in 2016 when the Aquino administration ends its term. The World Bank says consumption and sustained remittance inflows will remain the key drivers of the economy. Reconstruction efforts will also help drive growth, offsetting the impact of widespread damage caused by Typhoon Yolanda or Haiyan. The World Bank says growth is estimated to be 6.9% in 2013. The Philippines warns overseas Filipino workers or OFWs to prepare for Malaysia's crackdown on undocumented foreigners beginning January 21. The Philippine ambassador to Malaysia tells Filipinos to make sure their immigration or work documents are in order. The embassy also says Malaysia will detain illegal workers while arranging deportation. Those who leave voluntarily will face fines. In its latest estimate, the Commission of Overseas Filipinos puts the number of undocumented Filipinos in Malaysia at 200,000 as of December 2010. The crackdown is estimated to affect 6 out of 10 Filipinos in Malaysia. A U.S. Senate report says the attacks that killed 4 Americans in Libya in 2012 could have been prevented. The report, released Wednesday, came after Senate Intelligence Committee investigators conducted hearings and interviews with survivors of the September 2012 attack that targeted the U.S. diplomatic facility in the nearby CIA annex in Benghazi. Ambassador Christopher Stevens and 3 others were killed in the attack. The report says the State Department failed to follow warnings to boost security despite the deteriorating security environment in Libya. In a statement, the panel says the committee found the attacks were preventable based on extensive intelligence reporting on the terrorist activity in Libya and given the known security shortfalls at the U.S. mission. They're hailed as heroes propping up the Philippine economy, but some overseas Filipino workers don't always come home with a success story. David Lozada reports.
Labas kami, ang tawag nila sa amin, bagong bayani. Kasi 100% remittance tumatakbo rito sa Pilipinas. Ngayon, nung wala na kami, wala rin silang pakialam.
Heroes don't always succeed. Eugene Asho is a former OFW who worked in factories in the Middle East and Africa. Nowadays, he collects bottles in the streets and goes to soup kitchens to survive.
Napunta lang ako rito dahil nga sa hiring ng trabaho. Ang kaso, hindi naman ako natuloy. Kaya naubusan na rin ako ng pera. Dito ako ngayon dito sumasama sa mga feedings. Tapos sa gabi, doon ako natutulog sa bewok. Gabi-gabi yun. Pag umulan, maghahanap ako ng building doon sa tagiliran. Doon, makatulog lang.
There are many like Eugene walking the streets of Manila. Former OFWs like Eugene go here in Liwasang Bonifacio every morning to get their breakfast from different charity groups. They go to other feeding programs across Manila for their lunch and dinner. Arthur Villeta waits for free food from benefactors. He was a fashion designer of the Brunei royal family for 9 years until a stroke ended his career. He got accepted in other jobs abroad, but he couldn't pass the medical exams. He says he has not received any support.
Yung sabi nila na kapag OFW ka, priority ka ng gobyerno.
Sabihin mo lahat, ha?
Pero hindi naman nangyari yun, sir. Kung priority ka, dapat paglapit mo doon, unahin ka. Nakita yung case mo, kung anong problema mo. Dapat unahin ka, pero wala eh.
Like Arthur, Eugene says he has lost faith in government.
Hindi naman ako pwedeng lumapit sa UWA. Hindi naman ako pwedeng manghingi doon ng financial support. Kung magbibigay lang sila ng pera, kung ikay papaalis na.
Despite the government's goal to reduce the number of Filipinos leaving, a report in June says the number of OFWs increased steadily through the decades. The Overseas Workers Welfare Administration has reintegration programs available for repatriated OFWs. Neither Eugene or Arthur benefited from these. Both men hope they can still go abroad. They see it as the only solution to their hardships.
Umaasa na lang ako kung baka sakaling mayroong tumulong, at least sa skill ko. Kailangan naman doon yung skill ko sa mga planta. Makakabalik ako sa abroad, pero yung uuwi ako, hindi ako uuwi hanggat hindi ako makaka-abroad.
David Lozada, Rappler, Manila.
Well, let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 3, police arrest 2 suspects Wednesday for the alleged gang rape of a 51-year-old Danish tourist in New Delhi. The victim says a group of men attacked her after she got lost on her way to her hotel. Her mobile phone and cash were also stolen. This is the latest in a series of shocking sex crimes reported in India. At number 5, Afghan President Hamid Karzai accuses the United States of killing 7 children and a woman in an airstrike in central Afghanistan. A statement from Karzai's office says, quote, as a result of bombardment by American forces last night in Shagir district of Parwan province, 1 woman and 7 children were martyred and 1 civilian injured. Karzai often uses accidental shootings and misguided airstrikes to criticize foreign countries and stir public anger. And at number 7, the Filipina caregiver who won Israel's X Factor competition can't sing as a professional. A spokeswoman for Israel's Population and Immigration Authority says Rose Fostanes can only work as a caregiver according to the law. In other countries, winners of the competition are awarded recording contracts. Fostanes has worked overseas for more than 2 decades to support her family. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page that crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that have gotten the most number of votes on their mood meters. They've affected our readers and viewers the most in the last 24 hours. If we take a look today, you see Pinay caregiver Rose Fostanes wins the X Factor Israel. Interest 11% inspired, 68% happy. Our top story, international police probe Philippine child sex abuse rings. You have, strangely, 9% amused and 79% angry. That read, mirrored in the story that's gotten the most number of votes for the day. Should Commonwealth be renamed Eranio Manalo Avenue? 75% angry and 16% annoyed. That read, bringing out the mood of the day. Today, most people are angry. Well, that is Rappler's Newscast for today, Thursday, January 16, 2014. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.